Okay, so wait. What does your shirt even say? I have not seen that shirt. What does it say?
Parkway Drive.
Is that new?
Yes.
When did you get it?
Last week.
Where did you buy it?
From the concert store.
Are you going to give me like one-word answers this whole time?
Yes.
Why? I'm asking you a question.
Because you said I talk too much in social media clips.
Oh, okay. First of all, that was like a week ago. Are you still bent out of shape about that?
Yes.
All I wanted was that when I'm recording and I ask you a question, I just want you to give me an answer. I want you to say yes or no in the video because I only have a few seconds and then, you go on and on.
Okay.
Oh, you can be like that?
Yes.
How long are you going to do this?
Forever.
You promise?
Yes. You said I'm funnier when I'm really myself and I only give 2-word answers, 1-word answers.
All right, we'll see how this goes.
Whatever.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey listeners, ever wonder what it would be like to blow up your comfort zone at the tender age of 50? Well, we did just that. When our last kid went off to college, we hit the road in search of a new hometown. Now we bounce from city to city and bring you along for the ride. This is the Skip Town All-Stars podcast.
Can I talk?
As long as it's not too much.
What's up, All-Stars? Welcome back to another episode of Skip Town. We are so excited today to bring you the Asheville, North Carolina episode. What's up, Trixie? How we doing?
We're doing great. I can't wait to talk about this city because we've read about it, heard about it for the last 15 years. This is a city in the making for us.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
Wait,
but
you're talking too long. How you doing, producer Phil?
I'm doing fabulous. Asheville is something that I'm interested in too because I see a lot of people talking about it now. Like a lot of people I know go visit it, and I'm like, what's so special about Asheville? So let's find out.
I like it. That was a nice deflection. I know you're feeling like the child in between mommy and daddy fighting right now. I love it.
Don't argue.
did he talk too long?
No, Phil always talks the appropriate amount.
You do not.
Okay, anyway, let's get into it. Asheville, North Carolina. If you caught our Greenville, South Carolina episode, you know that my cousin Doreen, whoop, whoop, what's up, Doreen and family? Love you guys. Had a lot to say about Greenville, South Carolina, but we actually ended up meeting her and her beautiful family and going to the Biltmore in North Carolina.
We did. It was really such a great day. When was the last time that you have talked to Doreen? It seems like our travels and our podcasts have brought so many people into your life, especially that I've never met or even knew about. And Doreen is obviously one of them.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, Facebook kind of brought us back together in a way, but in person, I don't think I must have seen her maybe when I was 10 or 12 years old or something like that. And to be clear, she is my dad's cousin's daughter. So
second cousin.
What's that make it? Phil, you're black. You know how this works.
Yo, we just say cousins. That's it.
Okay.
Like a black and Samoans, they always have like huge families. So they just say cousins.
Oh, I've seen the T-shirts on the way to Las Vegas. Are you kidding me? Like the Simpson family reunion, and there's like 15 people in green or pink T-shirts, and they're all like, I'm her fifth cousin removed, 2 times over or whatever.
No, he says it's just cousin.
You just say cousin.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Anyway, it's a big family. Anyway, so I'm
her cousin.
I'm her cousin, to put it down to 1-word answer. And so anyway, I had the opportunity, and we talked about this in the Greenville episode. She is the one that sort of inspired me initially to think of Greenville, South Carolina as a potential place for us to live. And Greenville did not disappoint, but we had the option to meet her there and drive up to the Biltmore in North Carolina. But I thought the Biltmore was just going to be like, I don't know. To me, it sounded like the Four Seasons or, some other hotel. I just thought it was like one of those elegant hotels, like the kind we found in Quebec City.
Yeah, no, you were wrong.
I was.
Yeah. So about 10 years ago, we were in North Carolina, Bryson City, and I had asked you if you would like to go to the Biltmore with me. I asked my girlfriend at the time who was with us if she wanted to go to the Biltmore. I even asked her husband, and everyone's like, no, I don't want to go to the Biltmore. And now all of a sudden, everyone's like, the Biltmore, the Biltmore. Yes. So the Biltmore is really one of the oldest homes built by the Vanderbilts in the 1800s. It's
the Vanderbilts.
Crazy. Yeah, it's insane. They turned it into a museum, and there's a hotel on the grounds, but you can't stay at the Biltmore, which I did not know that. For all these years, when you pull up hotels and you pull up the Biltmore, you don't. Well, I didn't. I didn't realize that you actually can't stay in it. I thought the entire time that you could book hotel time, it was at the Biltmore, and it's not. It's a hotel on the property, but not in the Biltmore. So that was news to me. I was like, oh, well, why don't we just get a room at the Biltmore? And your cousin's like, yeah, no, that doesn't happen. So I sounded dumb, and she had to school me. And I'm like, are you sure? Because when I Google the Biltmore, it's always like book a room. She's like, yeah, that's the hotel on the property. And the property is 8,000 acres.
Wow.
So yeah, she's like, that's the hotel on the property. It's not the Biltmore. So I was like, oh, I thought we could stay at the Biltmore. So silly me.
Silly you.
Yeah, but anyway, I've known about the Biltmore for years, and you are now just coming around.
I am just coming around, thanks to cousin Doreen and her lovely family, which we should mention all their names. Husband Dave, Lexi, Lacey, and son David.
Grandma Terry.
Oh, Grandma Terry, that's right.
Grandma
and we
Terry.
met David's wife, Mary.
Yes.
And the little baby.
Yes.
You were so happy to have an infant in your arms again.
I was. I got to hold him. He was so cute.
Yeah.
We actually had lunch at the Biltmore. So we had lunch in the stables because, well, I think you should talk a little bit about the Biltmore before we even go into our lunch, like what it is and all of that.
It's like a chateau? Is that what it's called?
No.
It's like an estate.
Yes.
It's like Downton Abbey. I did not realize that pulling up to it.
Yeah, it's a museum now. So, but it was it was the main home, I believe, of the Vanderbilts. And I was gonna
the one Vanderbilt.
Yeah, the one son. Yes.
Tony.
No, his name is not Tony.
What is it?
It's John.
John Vanderbilt?
I believe so. Is it
not
Tony?
John.
Is it Tony?
You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
I do know.
Well, you're all about the Vanderbilts.
Okay, maybe I don't. I think it's John. I'm pretty sure. Do you know what it is?
No.
Then okay.
It's a nice house. If you have the means, I highly recommend it. In the words of Ferris Bueller, it's an amazing, amazing estate. Lots of wooded areas. They did a lot of their, they re-landscaped the forest area. It's incredible.
Well, they created the forest area because it was all plains.
No, God created the forest
it was
area.
Plains, and they planted all the trees. Are you going to do the Biltmore, or do I need
It's
to
on a
do
mountain. It's not plains.
It was plains for acres and acres, and they planted the trees. Do you need me to call
Did
cousin
they plant
Doreen?
the mountains as well?
Do you mean to call cousin
call her. Ring her up.
Doreen knows. Give me your number. Doreen knows.
Anyway.
It was John.
Thank you. Thank you. I knew it was John. It wasn't Tony. There's no Tony Vanderbilt.
Tony's their pizza maker.
Whatever.
Stop it. Okay. So do you need me to talk about the Vanderbilt house, or do you want to talk about it?
It's all you. You're the expert.
All right. So as I stated, it's on 8,000 acres, and it was more than that, but there were many acres that the family donated to the state to have as what's the word when it's untouched? You can't go on it. All of that.
Virgin.
No, stop it. Stop it. No, when it's, when the government owns the land, what's it called? Preserved. So they donated thousands and thousands of acres to the state of North Carolina for forestry preservation. So, but that being said, they built this house. It took 6 years, which is kind of phenomenal considering back in the day. They didn't have the same technology we have with regards to machinery. So they actually built a railroad. They built a railroad just to bring materials to build this house. The house is...
I wish I could build a railroad to my house just to bring me things.
I know. Isn't that incredible? That's the amount of wealth they had. It was in the 1800s. If you had to guess, the house is so massive, I'm not even going to have you guess. if you were to lay all the floors down, because I think it's 3 stories, 4 acres.
Wow.
The house spans 4 acres, and it is exactly 175,000 square feet.
Ooh. It looks like it. It's pretty impressive walking up to it, Phil. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. So the grounds itself houses a stable. It houses, I'm going to say it wrong. They call it the...
it's a conservatory.
Is that what it is?
The Biltmore Conservatory.
Okay. So let me give you a little stats about this house. Okay. It has 35 bedrooms, 43 bathrooms, 65 fireplaces. So here is what I was thinking to myself. Why so many fireplaces? Was it because the only use of heat they had during that time was wood? But I looked it up and it wasn't. They actually had steamers in the house. So I cannot figure out why there were 63 fireplaces. I know that a fireplace is visually it means wealth. But 63, I mean, the house itself is so massive, that would just inspire images of wealth. I don't know if 63 fireplaces are necessary. I found that to be a really interesting...
How many steamers?
Stop it. But anyway, so we got there. And normally when you go to the Biltmore, you do a tour of either the grounds or the inside of the house. The grounds, you can be there all day because it's, like I said, 8,000 acres. And I think it's something like 23 miles of trails. So you can do a tour of the outside and pack a lunch and just enjoy it for the day. Or you could take a tour of the inside and also enjoy it for the day because the inside tour is 5 hours. They say, get ready, pack up.
Strap in.
Strap in.
Gladys is going to walk you through all 4 acres of the house.
And you're not even seeing all the rooms. It's a 5-hour tour and you're not even seeing all the rooms.
Wow.
So we went with Doreen. We had a gaggle of people and we weren't doing an indoor tour.
No.
We did an outside tour and we had lunch in the stables. So the stables are really the stables. And from what I learned, they were, the stables was the first dwelling built on that property prior to the house even being built. And when you walk into the stables where they have it as a restaurant now, they're actually still intact, the stalls for the horses.
Yeah.
The booths are in
now.
each stall. It is pretty darn incredible. The floor is the original brick floor. The stable wood is the original wood. So each stable also has wrought iron along the top of it, and to divide the stables. And that wrought iron is original. I mean, it was just magnificent. You walk in, and you're like, whoa! And this was in the 1800s. So the amount of wealth this family had was beyond. So the Biltmore takes up a really significant part of Asheville proper, because it not only is the dwelling itself, but then there's Biltmore Village, which is everything around that museum, because that's what it is. It's a museum.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, like the day that we went, we just, I say unfortunately because we weren't inside, but we
didn't do a house tour.
We didn't. So it was unfortunate because everyone kept asking. I was posting the outdoor and they were like, are you going in? Are you going in? It was like we were with family. We were there for hours.
No, yeah, we were definitely
We were there till we got there, I think at 2 and we left at 7 or something. And that was not even enough time. We only saw a couple of things.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of it was spent playing catch up and,
having lunch.
It was the first time I had ever met Doreen's family. So, I got to sit and chop it up with her husband, David.
Yeah.
And I got to, going back to the restaurant for a second.
Yeah.
They had an Appalachian sampler, which is perfect for a menu person like me who likes a variety of different things. I'm more of a tapas, small plates kind of guy.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah. I'd like to order a myriad of things.
Oh.
I was so happy to work in the word myriad. Am I talking too much?
No, continue.
Okay. And so anyway, there was this Appalachian sampler that I found to be pretty dang delicious. Like, I wanted to say, oh, no, this is going to be a tourist trap restaurant or whatever. It wasn't. The food was good. Did you enjoy yours?
I did. The only thing I was disappointed with was that they had beef bourguignon on the menu, which I thought was so odd for a place in North Carolina. I was like, where are we, in Paris? And so I was excited to order it. So 2 other people were excited for me. So they ordered it also. And it wasn't beef bourguignon. It was
pot roast. We have a pot roast thing.
God.
Remember in New Haven when I
Yes.
ordered the beef spare ribs or whatever,
Short
the beef short ribs, and it came out pot roast.
Yeah. So it was beef bourguignon is served in a skillet, a cast iron. It could be cast iron or a metal. It's actually a bowl, and it's chunks of beef simmered for hours and hours and hours with potatoes and carrots and onions. I mean, it has lots of red wine in it.
And you tap it with your fork, and it falls apart.
Yeah. This was just stew meat on top of mashed potatoes.
Oh.
I was really disappointed. And I had been bragging about it, and everybody was really nice, and they'd never had it, so I don't think they noticed a difference. But they all said it was tender and flavorful, but it wasn't beef bourguignon.
Yeah, see, I would have ordered it. I wouldn't even know how to pronounce it. I'm saying, can I have this beef burger onion?
That's right.
So,
That's right.
But
Are we back on white people food right now?
That is a quintessential white person food. Yeah, because in my head, I'm thinking it's like a big onion with a burger in it.
Right.
Beef burger in the onion.
No, it's not.
Beef burger and onion.
It's definitely not that.
Oh, that's really funny. Beef bourguignon, beef burger with an onion. No, not that. So I thought it was delicious, but it just wasn't beef bourguignon.
Got it. Well, I was happy to be there nonetheless because I had a chance to actually talk to David one-on-one, and he has this engineering mindset, right? And he's created these drill bits for
Stump removal.
Stump removal. You know those guys you see all around Florida where they're, all the stump removal on the sides of the truck. I told him he'd do really well here. He's legit. He's designed his own drill bits for these things. Yeah. So something tells me Doreen and her family are going to be approaching the Biltmore level pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
He's going to make so much money.
They're going to be
you
buying
and I
up
talked about
property.
it for 2 hours out in the car after we left.
Yeah, he's so modest, and he's like talking about this little company he started. And we got in the car, and I said to James, "Oh, Doreen is moving out of this house in about 2 years, and she's going to be living like 8,000 acres, like the Biltmore, 4 acres of housing, house space." I'm like, oh, they have no idea what's going to hit them.
Oh, you legit said to me, "Forget the podcast. I'm going to work for Dave."
I did say that.
Thanks
I
a lot.
want to be on the ground floor.
Yeah, you are. You're going to be at the ground floor.
I'm looking at these pictures on Wikipedia of the Biltmore, and it looks like the castle that the vampires live in all of the
It's a little
movies.
Romanian, for sure. There's a Gothic aspect to it, for
Very
sure.
much so.
Like
Yeah.
this is it, right? That's it.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
just making sure that's the correct.
Oh yeah,
picture.
it is the largest house in America.
Oh yeah, you're getting your blood sucked if you lived there in the 1700s.
Jeez.
That's pretty incredible.
No.
So we spent the day there, and that is the big tourist attraction of Asheville. But there's so much more to Asheville. That was just one day that we were there.
We actually spent at least an hour in the wine shop. Phil, I dropped like $300 in bottles of wine.
Okay,
Just like for various people.
Because the Biltmore family didn't have enough money already.
Yeah.
They decided to cultivate wine, and they have their own winery where they make the wine and bottle it. And we got suckered in. I don't even drink wine. I literally don't even drink wine. Yeah. And you got how many bottles?
I ended up getting 9. If I had purchased 3 more,
No wine drinkers
I would
here.
have gotten, the tasting, the line to taste, I mean, it had to have been at least a 45-minute wait just to taste, sample some of the wines to get a wine flight. So that was great. The tunnel on the way there showed you all the casks and how they, would store the wine and manufacture.
Yeah, there was
and
an
all that other
underground
stuff.
tunnel that went from where the winery is to the grounds. And when I was walking through it, one of the people that worked at the Biltmore for 17 years told me that tunnel was used to move manure. Manure.
Spoken like a true city girl.
Manure. So they moved the manure from the stables to the fields, and they did it in the underground tunnel.
Nice.
We were walking in
same tunnel we were walking in.
poo-poo tunnel.
The steamer tunnel.
Steamer tunnel.
The steamer tunnel.
Yes, it was a steamer tunnel. Could you imagine how that smelled? And you had to push it. Ugh, yuck.
There's nowhere for that air to go either.
No, it was a tunnel underneath the ground for probably, like half a mile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, David and Mary were kind enough to let me use the baby carriage to carry all my wine back.
They held the baby.
They're like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? I'm sure they held the baby in their arms while I was pushing my wine in the baby carriage.
Poor baby's looking down like, why is there bottles in my bed?
That tunnel was long and rocky. I was going to definitely twist my ankle walking down there. So I appreciate everything they did to bend over backward for us while we were there.
So, all of that to say, though, they were kind enough to give us tickets to go to the Biltmore inside the next day.
Yeah.
And we spent.
We drove back to Greenville that night.
No, the next day, not that night, the next day.
We drove back to Greenville that night.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
okay,
we
yeah.
did.
Okay, yeah. We drove back to Greenville
And then we drove back to Asheville the next morning.
Which is an hour.
At this point in our trip, we had spent more time in Asheville than we had spent in Greenville where we were staying.
We did.
But we woke up that morning and it was pouring rain, icy cold.
It was. And so we had decided that the best thing to do was to visit Asheville. Like, let's visit downtown Asheville. Let's get a feel for Asheville. And then we'll pop in to the Biltmore as the weather's getting colder, the day is going on, and we'll be nice, cozy inside the Biltmore, and we'll do our tour then.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. That didn't happen because we spent so much time exploring Asheville that by the time we even got...
I'm sorry, we spent so much time, what?
Oh, well...
Exploring it? Who spent so much time exploring Asheville? Who did? One word answer.
You?
Yeah. And you spent so much time exploring what? Shopping. That's the answer. Shopping is the answer.
They had really good stores there. I'm not going to lie. I popped into one store and like, we're 3 hours later. I don't even know. He said to me, where are you? And I said, you know that store I was in? I'm in the one next to it now.
You were Skip Town AWOL that day.
I was a little bit, but I did explore it.
Yeah.
Not as much as you did because it was 3 hours. You were really...
You got to see the neighborhoods.
Yeah. Anyway, so by the time we got to the Biltmore, though, it was too late because it closes at 5.
Yeah.
I think we were done at like 3, and we wouldn't have given it its due. So, Doreen, we're holding on to those passes that Mary gave us because we're going back to the Biltmore when the weather's a little bit nicer.
You're gonna wait for. You're so fair weathered.
I really am. Yeah, it was quite cold. If I'm gonna
It
shop,
was cold.
Listen to me. If I'm gonna shop, I want to do it when the weather isn't so drizzly.
There were some good stores there. I ended up buying a pair of shoes.
I had to run back and forth in the rain. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I want like good weather for this. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about downtown.
Yeah, let's.
You want to talk about that?
I do.
30. I'm talking now. Okay.
Fine.
My show too. 32 art galleries just in the downtown area.
Oh, yeah. It's insane.
Of Asheville, North Carolina.
It's not, though. It is, let's be accurate. It's not just in downtown.
Oh,
they are everywhere.
They are everywhere, and we'll get into that. So no spoilers.
Oh, all right.
I took extensive notes.
I'll be quiet.
Yeah, I know it's going to be hard. And so Lexington Avenue and Biltmore Broadway, not that you would know this, are the main thoroughfares in downtown. You spent most of your time, what was it, like Dunham something? I don't know. There were plenty of lady stores on the one street.
Yeah.
I forget its name. But anyway, you'll definitely find it. Downtown Asheville to me. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Lots of art galleries, lots of restaurants, a handful of breweries. Among the oldest is the Highland Brewing Company, created by Oscar Wong, a retired engineer from Charlotte who moved there, created Highland Brewing Company, and is also the proprietor of, a lot of people would know it as Barley's Tap Room. It's one of the most famous tap rooms in the city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's definitely up there. A lot of breweries, over 50 breweries in that area.
You know, it's remember when we did our Greenville episode and we're talking about like the city with the most breweries?
Yeah.
Asheville was number 5. It's kind of crazy. On a list of 100, Asheville was number 5. Yeah.
Just in, I mean, I would say downtown Asheville, correct me if you think this is wrong, but I would say downtown Asheville is bigger than Greenville in terms of square blocks. It's just like downtown Greenville, it seems to be mostly in a line.
Oh, it's so funny because Doreen's family all had a debate about this when we were having lunch.
That's right, they did.
Yeah, they did. So Doreen said she thought Asheville was bigger. Mary said Mary, who lives in Asheville, her daughter-in-law, said she thought Greenville was bigger. I have to say, I thought Greenville was bigger. And I agreed with Mary in that Mary said, Greenville has a cityscape. Asheville doesn't have a cityscape.
It's on the mountain, though.
It is, legitimately. Like, I think we need to really make this clear. Asheville is in the Blue Ridge Mountains, in the mountain. Yeah. So it is extremely hilly. Yes. So when you're walking around, be prepared. It is not a quaint little, let's do a little brisk walk. No. Get your hiking boots on.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Denver where you're like, the altitude is so high and you're losing oxygen and all that other stuff. But there is some altitude there and you do have to climb. And for me, though, it's like thinking about how the town is laid out. It's more of a square as opposed to Greenville, which is more of a strip. So that square going up the mountainside seemed to be bigger to me.
Would you be out of breath walking?
There were a couple of streets where I was going up to catch another street to go somewhere else. And it was a little bit of an Orange Theory, workout. So
you said the Blue Ridge Mountains?
Yeah, it's in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Man,
that says hillbillies, right?
My geography is bad.
Why is that?
I thought it was the Appalachian Mountains.
Oh, well, aren't the Blue Ridge Mountains like nearby? Aren't they really close?
I don't know. My geography is terrible.
It is in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Is it part of the Appalachians?
No. The Appalachian, the Blue Ridge? Oh,
is
I don't
Blue
know.
Ridge part of the greater Appalachian chain?
Appalachian is Virginia, Kentucky. And Blue Ridge, I thought
Appalachian goes all the way up. Like it goes very far.
Do I look like I know anything about the mountains?
Yes.
That would be no.
Only because you're white. Pale white. Like you've never seen a beach in your life.
I'm getting stereotyped right now. I'm feeling very uncomfortable.
You are being racially profiled. I don't know. Anyway, Lexington Avenue and Biltmore turns into Broadway.
Can I just
Those are the main thoroughfares.
I spent most of my time on Lexington. I know Lexington very well.
Proceed.
Boutique LP. If you happen to be in Asheville, visit. Great place. Tops Shoes. If you're in Asheville, also on Lexington, great place. Yeah.
Okay. Back to me.
Yeah.
Farm Burger Asheville. We stopped for lunch. Did you know that's actually a national chain? Did you know that?
I didn't. It's funny that you say that because when we walked in, do you remember me saying to you, I literally said to you, but I don't think you were paying attention.
I wasn't.
I know you weren't. I'm being nice right now when I say I don't think you were because I know for a fact
you were. She actually just
were.
kicked me under the table.
I said to you, "Oh, I've been in one of these before," and then you just kept walking, and I was like,
"I was hungry."
Where was? No, I know, but I was thinking, where was I when I was in one of these before? I think I was in Utah. I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe.
I'm not sure, but I know I was in one of those before.
Yeah, that tracks. Salt Lake is good for stuff like that. Earthy, grain-fed burgers.
I think so. I can't remember. It was, but I had been in one. So you telling me it's a chain?
It is a chain.
Wasn't surprising.
They do the local small-scale farm model that Chipotle used to do before McDonald's took it over.
Oh, okay.
But turns out.
Did you like your burger?
Chain. I was not happy with it when it first came out because I thought it was really small on the bun, but it turns out it was actual beef that had just, how sometimes when you throw your hamburger on the grill and it turns into a softball.
Yep.
It was good. I gotta say it was a damn good burger. I was pretty happy with it.
Okay.
What about you?
I thought it was good. Yeah, it was thick. So I liked it. Yeah. Not
so that's our only restaurant review in this particular episode, right?
Yeah, but
we didn't eat there at night.
Did you have coffee there?
I did have coffee there.
Yeah. I mean, it seems it's a coffee town too. There's coffee shops everywhere.
Oh, so Asheville is a hipster town.
Oh,
it is.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
It's the mountain man beard, suspender wearing, toe shoes, what do you call it? Wingtip shoes, jeans rolled up town. Yeah. But it's super expensive. So don't think like hipster, like arty, cheap. No, it's hipster, like
pretentious, expensive.
There you go. 100%.
It's tech worker hipster.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But with a mountain man feel, which is really weird because there is definitely an element to it that is very mountain man.
I'm smiling.
But I know
it's like
you are.
my people.
It is your people.
I'm hill people all the way.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird because you have like a BMW, a Range Rover, and then you have a guy walking on the street with his backpack and a garbage
Toyota Land Cruiser from 1986.
Well, not just that, but like there was a lot of homeless people there. I was going at homeless, but go ahead.
We're going to get that.
Yeah.
In fact, our first experience with that, you and I were trying to take a selfie near the AVL mural.
Uh-huh.
And we got a really good photo of ourselves after about 5 or 6 tries.
Yeah.
And then we had a when you see it moment. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, there was a guy in the background approaching us.
Yeah, and this happens quite often. So why don't you tell our listeners what happens with you all the time, wherever we are, whatever. It could be in the middle of nowhere. It could be a desert. Look, I'm grateful that he has this superpower because this means we will never, ever get lost in the woods. We will never be deserted in a desert. This is James's true superpower. Why don't you tell everybody what it is that brought this lovely guy into our picture frame?
We will never die on Mount Everest.
Never. Absolutely not.
Somebody will come by.
As long as I'm with you.
Yeah. I have this superpower. We noticed it in El Dorado, New Mexico. Mm-hmm. Rolling hills, little adobe houses, 5 acres of land.
Not
for
a person
each
in
house,
sight.
not a person in sight. We're going around looking at property. I stopped to turn around in this driveway.
Mm-hmm. There's not a person in sight.
And there's a car waiting for me when I look in my rearview mirrors. And it's that guy's house. It was just my thing. It's just my thing.
No, it happens wherever we go.
Yeah.
We will pull into a parking lot, like an empty parking lot on a Sunday. Literally, there's no one in the parking lot.
7 a.m.
He'll pull over just to get directions somewhere. He'll say, I'm going to pull over in this parking lot. It's like a medical building closed on Sunday. He'll be parked in the middle of the parking lot, not even in a stall or anything like that, in a parking spot. Sure enough, there is a person on a bike who comes right alongside our car to cut through the parking lot to go wherever they're going at 7 o'clock in the morning. It is the oddest thing. If I say to him, hey, this is a great moment, I want to take a selfie, or I want to do a video right now because the storefront is really cool. Because I look around before I decide to do it. And if he's with me, forget it. Forget it. All of a sudden, there's 10 ladies that just leaving a restaurant that are laughing and they just want to be by you.
Yeah.
You have this energy. It is the worst.
It happened at Pricetown United Methodist Church, the church where I grew up. And I'm standing there I was the subject of the Ask a Local for my own hometown.
It was
standing there doing a little walk and talk, telling you about my lovely church, all the old ladies that used to wipe my nose, and painting the Jesus mural in the basement and all this other stuff. And a semi-truck driver decided he had to turn around in the church parking lot right at that moment.
The church was closed.
Yeah.
The parking lot was empty.
It was like a Wednesday morning.
Yeah, parking lot was empty.
It's a gift. What can I say?
It's crazy. So we're taking this picture, and this guy, we take a selfie.
So cut back to Asheville. Yeah.
And this guy, clearly a homeless man, is in our frame and he knows he's in our frame. I mean, because and if you're watching us on YouTube, you see me, we're like this, and he is behind me. So he knows he's in our frame, is looking right at the camera. He's doing a legit photo bomb. And then what does he say to you?
He says, hey, y'all want to buy a World War II bayonet? And we quickly thanked him for the offer.
Oh, you didn't say yes?
But
yes.
I know. I'm sure he found it on a sidewalk somewhere. And we thanked him for his offer. And we said, we're good for the moment. Yeah. No need for a bayonet.
Before he approached us, there was no one on that street.
Yeah. Because it was cold. It was bitter cold. Did we leave that out at the beginning of all this? It was really cold that day.
Asheville was pretty chilly.
And rainy. We did say it was rainy and the weather was crappy, but it was cold.
Yeah. But you bring it.
I do. I brought the weather and I brought the World War II bayonet.
You did.
Yeah. So anyway, that was all fine and dandy.
Was it? I was so annoyed with you. I'm like, I can't even get a photo. She gets
mad at me because it's a phenomenon that happens to me.
Wherever we go. I can't. Let's just move on.
It's like if I had a lisp Or you'd be mad because I couldn't say my ethith like Mike Tyson. Like,
No.
Yeah.
No. This is like,
It's my affliction. Like when I want to be alone, I can't be.
Can we attract something different? Can you try that?
I don't know. I've tried. I don't know. I just don't know. Quick tip on downtown Asheville. There's a pinball museum in Battle Square. Mm-hmm. I did not get to check that out. It was closed at the time we were there. There's an Asheville gem mine. Remember we went to Bryson City?
You know what I was thinking?
And the girls did the gems? What?
Yeah.
Are we still back on people coming around?
Yeah. I'm thinking instead of attracting people, why don't you attract shop owners to open up on days where we're visiting?
I could do that.
That would be so much better for us.
I could try. I don't know how to channel my power. That's the problem. It's just so raw and undeveloped.
That would be really helpful if you did that. Okay, back to the stores that are closed. Go
Asheville Gem Mine. You know, the gems are really popular in North Carolina.
I have one still.
Do you?
It's
what kind?
A emerald.
An emerald.
Emerald?
It's an emerald.
I said an emerald.
You said a emerald. Roll the tape. Go on.
An emerald.
Okay.
An emerald. But I got it from gem mining in North Carolina like 10 years ago. It's big too. I've tried to get it polished and made pretty and turned into a real emerald, and everyone keeps saying, I don't know. Nobody wants to do it. But you know what? I'm
Maybe
taking
it's
it with
not
me
worth
next
that
time.
much.
I'm taking it with me next time.
Okay.
See if someone will do it there.
Great. I think if you want to save that whole slurry and, you know, shifting the sand and all that other stuff, just go to Asheville Gem Mine. It's right on Broadway. They have gems already, big ones. Like they had lamps made out. I'm not so sure about that look. It's a little, you know, I like polish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like smooth edges, fine lines, straight lines.
Okay, continue.
Or go to the Thomas Wolfe Memorial on North Market. Do you know who Thomas Wolfe is?
No, I don't.
He's a famous, especially around the early 1900s, American author. He's one of the American greats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He wrote a book called, I believe it's called, I want to get it exact, You Can't Go Home Again.
And was he from Asheville? What's the purpose?
He is. He's from that area.
Okay.
Yeah. He's actually, like, there are so many quotes in that book. I remember reading it when I was maybe in 9th or 10th grade, something like that. So I did not see that while we were in town. I wasn't looking for the Thomas Wolfe Memorial, but I found it in my research preparing for the show. One of my favorite authors, as it turns out, I'm not like, I can't recite the book.
Yeah.
I just remember it came at a particularly instrumental age for me when I was around 13, 14, 15 years old. And I didn't want to stay in Ohio. And I remember reading the title of that book and then consequently pulling it out of the library, checking it out. I read the book. A lot of quotes in there, too many to count.
Did you know he was from there before we started our adventure?
No, you already asked me that. No.
You had no idea?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I never put it together.
Sometimes memorials are in a city because the person died there or they were born there. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Like, did he just die there or was he born there? Okay.
Is that weird that they have memorials for people who died there?
No, because you like Da Vinci, there's a whole museum and his burial is in, I believe, in Paris, but he wasn't born where he died. He wasn't buried where he was born. He was buried where he died. And there's a whole thing set up to where he died. So if you're, I don't know, if you're phenomenal in whatever it is that you did during a certain time and your place of rest, I think your place of rest should be memorialized. I really do.
Yeah, if you were instrumental and like if you contributed somehow to the social fabric of a particular community, you can be eulogized via a memorial, even if you weren't from there.
Yeah, because I mean, like I do think it's Da Vinci that was there's a museum where he was born and there's a museum where he died. But you know, he's huge, so people of that stature, I think, could be memorialized both in birth and death. That's just my opinion.
Well, when I get super famous, you know, if I happen to die at a Chipotle, please don't put a statue of me at a Chipotle.
Okay, we won't do that.
We will not put a statue of. We'll put a statue of you at the West Oaks Mall in Orlando.
That's what
Florida.
we will do.
There you go.
So anyway, that's kind of I mean, downtown had plenty of great bars, restaurants.
Yeah, but hold on, let's go back to your author because hold on really quick.
Yeah.
When you found out, like, about him and you're like, I read his book, were you like, oh my gosh, I'm in his city?
Yeah, but I was already back here when I figured that out.
Oh,
So
you didn't know when you were there.
I wasn't in Nashville at the time.
Oh,
no.
okay. Sorry.
No, that's
okay.
my point.
Just
Yeah, I
curious.
found
All
it in doing research.
right. Oh, all right. Well,
So, and by research, I mean watching YouTube videos. So,
Yeah.
anyway, so that's kind of the scope, I guess, of downtown Asheville. I found it on some levels cosmopolitan. The one thing that I would say is, I mean, like, I will just say if I walk up to a place and I see tie-dye advertised in the window, like tie-dye t-shirts or blankets or hemp, anything,
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm not a hippie. I was a former jock. And now,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I love the artistry of it and everything. But there does come a point where it's like your shop looks sloppy, you know?
yeah, you know, okay, you say there's the artistry and going back to that, somebody just sent me a message a couple days ago and asked me, like, Asheville, is it a great, should I take my family there? And they're grown adult girls and her husband and her.
Yeah.
And she gave me options. And it's funny because I liked Asheville.
Yeah.
I told her no.
Did you?
I did, because I don't think it's a family trip. I think if you have one shot to go somewhere in the country, it's not Asheville. I thought it was dirty. I thought it was expensive. There's definitely an undercurrent of something. I don't know what it is, but when you're in the mountains, it was drugs, but I don't know what it was. It was like you can feel it. There's something going on. Everyone touted Asheville. Like when we were traveling and we would tell people we're going to Asheville,
Yeah.
it was touted the liberal city. Not always in a good way. And
Do tell. Nobody, liberals
well,
are
look,
always.
first of all, South
scapegoat.
Carolina, like you had mentioned in our Greenville episode, it leans more red than blue.
Mm-hmm.
And during our time in South Carolina, I met more than one person who said, "Oh, Asheville's ruining it for all of us."
Asheville's ruining Greenville?
Greenville, the Carolinas.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's ruining because
How so?
the gays, the drugs. There's a tent city in Asheville. You and I did not see
We
the
did not
tent
see
city.
that, no.
But there were enough homeless around on every street that you knew they had a homeless problem. There's
Right.
no question there's a homeless problem.
Yeah.
So I actually came across one local in South Carolina who explained to me the problem with Asheville.
Oh, what's that?
She said that Asheville, the way it is situated on the mountainside,
Uh-huh.
if you look at a map, it is the shape of a vagina. And because of that,
Are
It-
you kidding me?
brings in the gays, which bring in lots of problems.
Wait.
Okay, so hold on.
Wait.
Just stop.
How would a vagina bring the gays?
Because she said that lesbians, because of the way it is
Maybe
shaped,
lesbians, but not the gays.
lesbians, because the way it is shaped on the mountainside, are going in droves to
This is a QAnon
Asheville.
thing. So
I had to look it
Asheville
up.
is the
Wait,
vagina
just
of
stop
America?
it.
Is that what she's saying?
Yes, and that's why it's the hub. That's why there's so many gays that live there. So I looked it up. I looked it up from a satellite view. I looked it up from a topography view. I looked it up from a map view. I personally could not see that shape.
You
when I
couldn't
looked
see a
at-
vagina?
No. I saw hills, so I thought if anything, it might be breasts, but I could not see that shape.
What planet are we on right now?
She was dead serious, so you stop right now. Okay.
I mean, think about Florida. I mean, Florida's shaped like a wang, and so you can see all the crazy people we got here.
I know, but it's not just
go.
gays. It's like
Well, according
straights.
to
lots
her,
of straights and lots of Republican straights in Florida.
oh, we're talking Florida right now. Okay, we're talking Asheville or
Well,
Florida.
we're talking shapes.
Okay, so shapes. He's saying about Florida. It
Right.
is funny that you mentioned that the Florida is shaped as a penis because you know the Florida man is such a thing here. Okay,
Oh,
so
maybe there is something to this vagina theory.
yeah, so she's saying that the way, because it's shaped the way it is, lesbians are coming in droves, which brings
Building breweries.
gay men, and crime, because the liberals have come in and have destroyed the city. And I guess they had a gay mayor, a woman mayor, for like 10 years. So
Oh my God, people are gay in 2023. This is so crazy.
yeah.
Go on.
But it's because it's shaped like a vagina on the side of the
That's some
mountain.
QAnon stuff right there.
So yeah. So
Does John F. Kennedy live outside somewhere of that vagina?
JFK Jr.
Junior, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The new one. You're talking about the new one. The new. Who's the new Kennedy?
Robert.
You talking about the new Kennedy or
Robert Kennedy?
Oh, you're talking
I'm
about
talking JFK.
Oh,
they all
Junior.
say JFK Jr. is alive.
Oh, they do? Oh, we didn't get into that.
It's a QAnon thing.
No, we did not get into that. It was just.
I don't know. I mean, he was always a Democrat. I don't know how QAnoners think that JFK Jr. is somehow their
that's
white
weird.
and shining knight, white and shining armor.
I don't know, but don't QAnoners also believe in homeopathic medicine?
Yeah. Well, they believe in no medicine.
Okay.
And they believe in no rules. And they believe in no taxes. And
I don't know. I don't know if she's a QAnon.
let's go back to Asheville.
Okay, I don't know if she's a QAnoner, but yeah. So she gave me a clear indication because I said to her, I asked her, when did Asheville become this art mecca? That was my question.
And you
Art
somehow got
Mecca.
to because it's the vagina capital of the world.
Art mecca went to
Explain
the
the
shape.
Grand Canyon.
We didn't talk about Grand Canyon, honey. We were just on Tent City,
I'm
Asheville.
just saying the theory falls
we were
apart.
just
That's
on
just all I'm
Tent
saying.
City, Asheville. Okay, this is what people think that
Just
live in South Carolina.
Explain the San Andreas fault.
Okay. So anyway, so I got a clear explanation of why Asheville
Of one person's explanation of why Asheville
is the way it is.
is the way it is.
Yeah, with crime, Tent City, drugs, and liberals and gays.
It does seem like a mix of, they have an art museum there. It's pretty spectacular.
There's art galleries everywhere. It's spectacular. Yeah. Like you use the word spectacular. It's spectacular in the scope of artistry.
I know, but there is a metropolitan factor to
there is,
Asheville.
but it's not as sophisticated.
I know,
it's not sophisticated.
It's not like some of the others. It is more rustic. Look, they're up there. It's gritty.
I mean, let's be honest. How much are houses there? They start at $1 million.
They're pretty expensive. Yeah.
So you may have like a meth problem, or you may have a liberal,
opioids.
Yeah, you may have a gay issue. Well, there's $1 million homes in there. But I think
that's because the gays are dual income, no kids.
It is true. Yeah.
They're dinks.
They're dinks.
Dinks. That's what they're called.
Dual incomes, no kids.
They can afford those big fat houses.
Yeah. But
Anyway.
with any mountainside, because it's a mountainside town, you're gonna get a mountain element.
There's a transient element there
Yes,
for sure. I
that is it.
personally feel like even though the guy who tried to sell us the bayonet was, he was unhoused, but I also feel like there's sort of.
Oh, you used unhoused.
I did use I used the unhoused.
Look at you.
Yeah. I keep saying homeless, and people take issue with it. They don't recognize that we're from Los Angeles, and it's really a problem there.
I had this whole discussion with somebody though. Like, if you don't have a home, you're homeless.
Yeah, that's a Gen X term.
Okay.
But the Gen Z term is unhoused.
There are some people who don't want to have a house. So what are they called?
They're called homeless.
Okay.
Anyway.
Thank you.
What?
Okay. Yeah. Unhoused. You didn't know that?
Unhoused is I think that's the government, actually, like state and city governments will use the term unhoused because
it's Gen X, babe. I mean, Gen Z. It's Gen Z who's using it.
There is some of that, but I also think there's politicking going on with the verbiage because it's just so, it's kind of unsavory to say we have 1,500 homeless people in our town. They say, we're dealing with the unhoused to the degree of maybe 1,500 persons.
Oh, so that's how they're spinning it.
Yeah.
We don't use the word nude or naked here. We just say unclothed.
Similar.
Very
Great analogy.
Thank you, Phil.
Anyway, I think there's also probably...
you said this guy. You were talking about the guy.
I think it's funny because I witnessed this in Knoxville way back when in 2012. There's a little bit of, there are some trains going in and out of these towns all through this region that people can just climb on and go to the next town, and
I see it more.
The guy with the bayonet, he could have picked that bayonet up in West Virginia somewhere and he was just trying to sell it in North Carolina.
Do you think it was a World War II bayonet?
I don't.
Why?
We already talked about this. I didn't look at it, and
because when he left, I go, maybe it was a World War II bayonet.
I never worked on Pawn Wars or whatever the hell it's called, so I don't know. But
what would be the discrepancy? Like, that's the thing. Like, how would you negate that it was a World War II bayonet? You know what I mean? Like,
you have to be some sort of connoisseur, right?
Look, let me take a look.
It was the most random thing.
Let me stop with my selfie and let me take a look at this.
It was like going to a football game and being offered socks. Do you want socks? No, I don't want socks.
Football games are cold. Socks seem perfect.
No, football games are hot where we're from.
But they're cold everywhere else.
Miami,
socks seem perfect.
LA.
Bayonet did not seem perfect. A
Socks would seem perfect this time of year for the playoffs.
Yeah. So you come up with a different example.
I don't know. It's like being in the desert and looking for water and being offered
popcorn,
a fireplace poker. You know,
popcorn, because popcorn's really drying on your mouth. Okay.
I was like, I have no use for this thing you're trying to sell me at all. But thank you for the offer, the kind offer, sir.
So when I looked around Asheville, I felt like some of the people I was seeing may have come from the actual woods.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
It is. It's totally possible.
Okay, I think it is.
There are probably generations of people. Literally third, fourth, fifth generations of people who were raised in that area and maybe don't have a job, maybe live off the government, and maybe are walking around trying to sell bayonets on the sidewalk.
I was disappointed. I'm not going to lie. Like, I got there thinking all the years I'd heard about Asheville, I thought it was going to all be the Biltmore. Like, I really did. I really thought it was all going to be pretty. It was going to be pretty people. It was going to be, I guess I felt like it was going to be Southern charm.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Southern charm on a mountain. Maybe the houses would be a little more Gothic than they were.
Maybe. I didn't expect to see what I saw. Just like, I don't know. It's busy. It is arty for sure. It's expensive. It's dirty. Okay. I don't know. I can't.
Okay, you're leading too much. Let's get back. Okay. So let's go to breweries for a second.
Okay.
Before we go to neighborhoods. Breweries. We talked about this in a previous episode.
Yeah.
Over 50 breweries in Asheville.
Yeah, it ranks number 4 or 5, I said. Next number 5 on the list. Yeah.
I already told you about Highland Brewing Company and Oscar Wong. Wicked Weed Brewery is a very good one. I actually tried one of their beers when we were in Greenville, nearby Greenville. I tried the fresh pressed wheat ale with blood orange, grapefruit, and agave.
So it's Wicked Wheat.
Wicked Wheat is the name of the brewery.
I thought you said weed.
I thought he said weed.
I think that's what they're going for.
Oh,
it is Wicked Weed. Sorry. I tried the wheat beer at Wicked Weed Brewery.
Oh, they're being clever.
Sorry. Yeah, they were.
Was there THC in your beer?
Oh, did it have THC, he asked?
Maybe. I don't know. It felt pretty good when it was over.
That would be a beer.
I'm not really like the fruit kind of beer guy or whatever, but it was a pretty damn good beer, I must say. So that's my little plug for Wicked Weed Brewery. And then there's another brewery there that you might find interesting. There are many breweries there offering many different varietals of hops and wheat and all that stuff. But one that you might actually like is Ginger's Revenge. It's a brewery that has
ginger beer
that's actually alcoholic.
Oh, that's got to be delicious.
Yeah. They look pretty good.
Doesn't all ginger do most?
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most ginger beers are just ginger.
Ginger's Revenge is like another sequel to Chucky.
It is. It absolutely is.
What is?
It sounds like it. Ginger's Revenge. I looked at their logo. I was trying to figure out, are they mimicking Ginger from Gilligan's Island?
Oh.
Because I think it's a redhead.
Huh.
Let's talk about neighborhoods.
Let's. Because what we do know is 15 years ago, what you could have bought for $450,000, it doesn't exist now. Like, it's a joke.
It is.
What?
Oh, it doesn't even exist.
In Asheville?
In Asheville, North Carolina, yeah. The first place we went was
because Phil, where hipsters go, prices go up.
Oh.
And the gays.
And the gays,
Don't
for sure.
forget the gays.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The dinks.
With the vagina.
Vagina town.
Keep going.
Okay, so North Asheville, we're going to start there because none of us can afford to live there.
It is true.
North Asheville is where the Omni Grove Park Inn is located. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. How picturesque did that look? It was pretty insane.
It was a beautiful hotel tucked into the mountain, Blue Ridge Mountain. It is beautiful.
The top of the mountain, right? fog. It was misty and fog. It had finally stopped raining at that point. It was still cold, but those homes in that area, like 1.3 to 7 or 8 million.
Yep.
Easy.
Oh, 1.3 was a tiny house.
Yeah, it was.
Jeez, what? Hold up.
Yeah.
We
What?
went up
Yeah.
to this area.
I
It
know.
was insane. The country club is up that way. There's a golf course up that way. It's definitely where those who are more well off are living when it comes to being around the Asheville area.
And when you think of mountain living, luxury mountain living, this is it.
Yeah.
The driveways that go up there, you know that when it snows, they're not coming down because they're windy driveways and you can see it. They're on the side of the mountain. So you see the driveways go up and you see these beautiful, beautiful homes just tucked right into the mountain.
Yeah.
It is exactly what you think of when you think of mountain living at a very elevated level.
At a very elevated level. Mansions upon mansions going up the hillside.
I got to show you something. Okay, so I wanted to look it up for myself.
Yeah.
Right. And the very first house that I see
Let's
on
see.
Zillow, I'm gonna just tell you the specs, and then you tell me how much you think it costs.
Okay.
Okay, let's
You-
do
you,
it.
You may be wrong, but
Let's play
this
this
is a
game.
1-1.
Oh,
Is
we
it in
will be.
Asheville? Is it Asheville proper?
It is in Asheville.
Okay,
Yes.
tell me.
It is a 1-1 and only 396 square feet.
How many
much do you-
acres?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
It doesn't say.
1-1 and it's 390 square feet.
396, so it's tiny, but as big as this room.
That is going to be, I would say, about 380K.
I was gonna say 250.
Here we go. Boom!
329.
Wow, I was
Wow.
closer.
It's a
That's
cabin.
insane.
It's a cat. So we are looking.
So I
I know
went
if you're
well
if you're
over.
listening, we're looking at the photo right now, and you'll see it on YouTube. It is a log cabin. That's 396 square feet, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Yeah, for $229,000. Yep, that's accurate.
insane.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that
So-
tracks.
That does track. So continue.
Yeah, we did drive through West Asheville. That was more. It was kind of. It seemed like it was a little more elevated than downtown. Maybe I'm wrong, but that had more of the restaurants. Remember, it was a strip of restaurants, a strip of brew pubs.
When you
of
say
course,
elevated, do you mean like
higher in elevation,
for real?
like up the hill.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
Even though it was west, it was also north in terms of
Yes.
elevation.
Yes.
Uh,
That was like a neighborhood. Like
It was a
really
neighborhood.
cute, but the houses were so tight
They're
together.
pretty tight together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's us maybe 15, 20 years ago.
It is.
We might have considered that neighborhood because there's so much to do
Yeah.
on that main strip.
Yeah.
But again, the house, I mean, you're not getting a lot, much more than 10,000 square feet, something like that, if you're lucky.
For the lot.
For the lot.
Oh yeah. The house is probably only like 1,500 to 1,700. Yeah.
Something like that.
Maybe 2,000.
Yeah. And those houses in that area range, I mean, they're above 500K.
Okay, so we looked at that one house. Was that in West? That was West, right? Was that West?
I believe so.
And it looked brand new. It had no lot. The whole house was built on
house
the
took up
lot.
the lot, yeah.
It was 2 stories. It was modern. It was the outside of it was a wood facade.
Yeah.
That was, I think, $800,000.
Yeah.
And how many square feet? That was 2,300, I think.
Yeah.
Because it took up the whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about, it was just over 2,000 square feet.
So you had all home, no lot, $800,000 in West Asheville.
Yeah. So.
And the street wasn't great. I
We were
remember.
priced out of that. And then we were around historic Biltmore Village, which is in South Asheville. And we quickly figured out, unless we wanted a condo or a townhouse, we were also priced out of that.
Yes.
The prices across Asheville, no lie, 700K and up for, a 3+2 in many, many areas. It's expensive. It's a really expensive city up there.
It's so crazy because you think, what made this? You think that when you go to a city that has exploded, what made it? And I asked so many people, and they kind of said the same thing. They said, if you are an outdoors person, you have hiking, you have biking, you have kayaking, and you can do almost all of that year round. Even when it's cold out, you can still go hiking. So you may not obviously be able to go kayaking, but you can go hiking, you can go biking as long as there isn't snow. So they said, if you're an outdoors person, it's beautiful. And
It is.
Man, if I'm spending that much on a house, I'm in the house.
That's true. It's true.
I'm with Phil.
Yeah. I'm looking at
the trails are amazing. The access to nature is incredible in that entire area.
When you're walking, Phil, there's a beautiful river that runs right through and along
the French Broad River. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And there's a walking path. And you can see, obviously, that like during the summer, people tube down it. I mean, they people have talked about tubing it, kayaking it. So I think the allure of that city is that you can literally you are in the middle of nature. You are legitimately in the middle of nature. You don't have to travel far. You don't have to, plan for it. You're right there.
Yeah. Then we tried East Asheville, and there is a little bit more of a rural feel there. We found it felt like you could have a little more space, a lot of vinyl siding that we went past, and there's nothing wrong with vinyl siding, especially in cold elements, and I get all that. But if you're looking for that sort of house with character where you redo a few rooms and all that, it's kind of a tough find there.
So East Asheville would not be it. I can ask you this because you grew up in a trailer park. Okay,
Jeez.
Just leading with that.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Well,
okay.
Who else am I going to ask?
I did live in a trailer park until I was 8 years old.
Okay,
Yes.
so this is a phenomenon I have seen throughout our travels. Why is it synonymous with dirty? And why is rural synonymous with like junky? Explain this to me, because I don't think, what do I know? But I'm just saying, I don't think because you're poor, you have to be dirty or your house has to be dirty. So why is it like that?
Okay, let's stick with junky first.
Okay. Rural is junky to me. When I hear rural,
rural
I'm like,
is junky to me.
Junky.
When you're poor and you come across something, a deal, a bargain, a freebie, or what have you, that you think has some sort of value, even if it's just an extra bicycle tire for a 10-speed or something like that, you take it because you're not accustomed to having many things. And you think, oh, like if I have this, like there is that's why you go into some, like you watch these hoarder shows or whatever, and they're living in a little house and they just have stuff to the ceiling and all that. It's because they know they're not making a lot of money. So it's like whatever they have, they just want to gather and keep for themselves. Whatever they can scrounge is theirs now. And it somehow, I think subconsciously, fills in the gap between not having and the impression of having. Does that make sense?
Wow, that makes absolute sense.
Even if it's all garbage, it's all junk. Like the minute
look at all they have.
That person passes away, they sell off their trailer or their little house or whatever, and somebody comes by with a dumpster and throws it all away. I've seen that firsthand.
I know, but at the time, they feel like, look at all I have.
Yeah, or they think, oh, this may come in handy, or I won't have to spend money on XYZ since it's right here on the side of the road, I'm just going to pick it up and throw it in the back of the truck. And now all of a sudden, the garage becomes, a gallery of things that they'll never, ever touch or use. I'd say growing up in rural Ohio, that was definitely like, I've seen that in my own family. So like different, like my grandmother had a whole garage full of antique Amish furniture. And that was actually well-crafted stuff. It wasn't just...
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about...
There was garbage. I know there was garbage in there, but my point is she had more furniture in the garage than she could ever put in her house.
I'm not talking about that though. I'm talking about outside. Like you go outside rural, and there's like two types of rural. There's the junky, and then there's like the Amish rural. Like you mentioned Amish. It's like, okay, there's the regal rural.
Well, I'm not saying Amish people are junky.
I know. I'm saying there are two types of rural. I never said that. Okay. I never ever said that.
Right.
I'm saying there's two types of rural. I'm saying that in my head, when I think of rural, I think junky, or I think of
rustic.
Like rustic.
Yeah.
Yes.
The difference between, I think, cute cottage in the woods and
A double wide with
run
like
down double wide
with a
junk
car
all on the outside of it
on cinder blocks. I don't understand it.
I think it comes down to just pride in the end. I think if someone is poor and they have a lack of pride for who they are, lack of expectations or what have you, it doesn't matter where you throw that stuff that was in the back of the pickup truck, you know?
Okay. So that is why sometimes poor is synonymous with dirty.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, like I knew plenty of poor people who were clean, and they're, you know, the mothers or the families kept a neat house, even though they didn't have much to their name, but their clothes were always in shape, and, you know, maybe not the most expensive clothes, but I also knew plenty.
That's rare.
It can be. Yeah. I just think there's an innate depression.
Okay. So could this be like when we went to the Waffle House?
Yeah.
And I said to you, wow, this place is filthy. And you said, they're all like this.
Yeah.
And all the workers were sitting around, like sitting at the counter, counting their money. Nobody, like there was disgusting food on the floor, the whole 9 yards. So is it going back to what you're saying? Is it they don't make much money, so they have no pride in their work. They have no pride in their environment. So why clean it?
Yeah, I would say that, like, you know, it's like I'm only making $10 an hour. I'm not scrubbing this unless somebody actually tells me to, as opposed, like it is the difference in human beings. Like they're kind of, I mean, there are many different types of human beings, but essentially it boils down to, you know, the go-getters and the people who are waiting around and see, right? And so the people who are waiting around and see often are waiting around forever because, you know, I mean, they're accumulating stuff, or it's like this, you know, that's why you see cars in the front yard. They're going to fix that axle one of these days, and 30 years go by, and now their son or daughter has to get it towed out of there because they're selling the property, you know? I don't know. I mean, I think with poverty comes definitely like,
So it's just
the lack of confidence that you have, you know, especially if you're renting in that environment. Like there's not a lot of ownership, you know, somebody's renting a trailer, somebody's renting an old house. And so it's not your house. You're not going to, you know, I'm not fixing it up. I'm not, you know, whatever. It's, you know, I don't know. Some people are just filthy. It's just how it is.
I just have never thought, like, you know, I've had family members who are poor, but they weren't dirty. So driving through certain areas,
yeah.
I can't understand it.
Here's
like,
a question though.
Okay.
Are some people poor because they're filthy, or are some people filthy because they're poor?
That is a good chicken and egg question, because are you sloppy and therefore you can't get the good job?
Yeah.
Or are you not getting the good job and therefore you gradually become sloppy? So
I don't know. I mean, I always thought that you could be poor, but you didn't have to be dirty.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember like there was one of my best friends from high school. His dad said, I don't want to something happened in the neighborhood. Somebody was bullying some kid, or somebody said something to another kid or something. And the dad came out and he said, hey, I don't want to ever hear any of you teasing somebody because they're poor. It's like, there's no excuse to be dirty, but don't ever let me hear you tease somebody about not having money. That was it. That was a good policy. I mean, we all sort of enacted that, but to your point, I think a lot of it comes hand in hand. And to Phil's point, what came first? I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Yeah. I was thinking, that's why I was quiet.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about that too. I'm not sure.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes rural actually means junky. And you could have that great cottage up on a hillside with 5 acres of land. You and I have seen this. Right down the street, you know, everybody has, not everybody, many people have that neighbor that their house is falling apart and it's an eyesore the minute you leave your driveway, you know?
We had that across the street from our house.
We did.
In Los Angeles.
For years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, her house was literally falling apart before our eyes. So everyone, whether you're in a city or rural, everyone has that neighbor.
Yeah.
So, okay. So East Asheville is more rural, and not in a good rural way.
Not always. Yeah. There are some, look, there's some gems all over these neighborhoods.
That's
right?
true. Yeah. But overall, overall feel was that it needed a little bit more work than what we could probably do.
Yeah.
And probably our budget also. I mean, like, what were the houses starting in East Asheville anyway?
I think they were a little more affordable, like
Yeah, but like what?
400s.
I know, you know how much work though. We saw some of them. They really needed work.
Some did, yeah. So, you know, while we can't really afford a house per se in Asheville, at least not the one we want.
I don't know, but if you had the money, would you? If you had the money right now, would you? Would Asheville be a choice?
I think, I mean, in fairness, same with Greenville. We went there during their worst weather days of the year. I would be curious to see how beautiful Asheville is when the leaves are on the trees, the sun is out. I know homelessness will still be an issue, but I'd be curious to see that city and give it a fair shake.
Okay.
I'm not personally ruling it out. It has ruled me out, budgetarily speaking. So
that is true. It has.
You know, but so we can't afford a home really there. But one thing we can afford is artwork.
Oh.
And let's talk about the River Arts District.
Yes.
87, I looked it up. You and I were driving for a couple miles.
Mm-hmm.
You had the French Broad River on one side and gallery after warehouse of galleries on the other side.
Yes.
87 galleries.
I believe it.
To date in that district. It was incredible. You can't do that in one day.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
You cannot furnish your house with artwork in one day in Asheville.
No.
It's impossible. Plan the week. Get the farm burger and hunker down at a hotel for a week because it's going to take you that long to get through all those galleries.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't just your what you're thinking art like on canvas. They had ceramic studios. They had jewelry studios. They had it was like macrame studios. I saw everything.
Yeah. It stretched a lot further than I thought it was going to.
Agreed.
Yeah. And frankly, from what we saw from the windows, way better selection. Of course, way better selection in downtown. Downtown has 32. River Arts has 87 galleries. But not only that, way better quality, it seemed.
Okay, so when
than
we were
the downtown shops.
When we were in downtown Asheville, you did make a comment. You said like one of the places we walked by was kind of like more of an antique shop than it was an art gallery, although they had some art in there.
Yeah.
You did say to me when we were there, you go, who would put this junk in here? And I could not stop laughing. I said, what are you talking about? You're like, this is just somebody's junk that they brought down from the mountain and put in the store. And I'm thinking in my head, well, this store is probably $5,000 a month. So this junk has got to be more than just what somebody pulled from the mountain. But I think there's a part of it that's probably a little accurate. In downtown Asheville, when you go to the river area, it is more upscale for sure.
Yeah.
So let me guess the arts. So you see a half-cut tub with the flower sticking out of it.
Yeah.
A used keg.
Boots. Old boots.
Okay, yeah, boots, spray painted boots. Probably a bench. That's
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, some upcycled things.
Somebody holding a kite.
We have a friend in Los Angeles. We don't trot her out very often, but Stephanie works at the Getty. And her term is dumb art.
Dumb art.
There's lots of dumb art out there, so be careful. We're petrified to bring her to our house one day.
I have to take stuff off the wall.
She's going to think everything in our house is dumb art. But when we're saying dumb art, you know it's really dumb.
Oh,
so,
man. And it's
we're not even like, critics for crying out loud.
Yeah. So if we're like, oh, I wouldn't get that, you know it's bad.
No. The other thing, speaking of the French Broad River, that I found a tidbit, and I would like to do this actually because it's right across, I think it's right near the art district.
Okay.
There's a place called Asheville River Cabins. You can rent cabins and airstreams, parked airstreams with like flower beds and all that other stuff right across the French Broad River. It looks pretty killer, actually. And I know in the summertime or the spring when the water's flowing and all that, it's got to be gorgeous.
Oh, and I'm sure already booked for the next 2 years, and it's very Asheville-esque.
Probably, yeah.
So can I ask y'all a question about these hipster towns? So when I think of hipster town, I think of Austin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what would you rank Asheville and Austin? Which one?
Oh, they're so different. They're so different. Austin is very music, city,
University of Texas, skyscrapers,
higher end restaurants. It is higher fashion, more sophistication, more rock and roll, more tattoos. I would say, although there are quite a bit of tattoos in Asheville, but you don't see the mountain man beards in Austin.
Asheville is definitely more edgy than Austin.
Yes, a little dirty, a little.
Sometimes in a good way, but
okay. Here's a car term. Austin is Audi. Asheville is Subaru.
we have a Subaru.
I know, but it's still a Subaru, don't you think? Asheville is
That
Subaru.
explains the lesbian
Oh my
Subaru. Explains the vagina.
It does.
Oh my God. Full circle.
Vagina-shaped city.
Yeah.
Full circle.
No wonder we took our car up there.
But would you? Okay, I didn't even think about that, to be honest with you, about the lesbian car. But when you say it's more of like a Subaru place,
Oh, absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
So does that help you? Austin, Audi,
Yeah. Yep.
Asheville, Subaru.
Sure does.
But prices are about the same. You just get a different lifestyle.
Yeah. I looked at another house. Look at this one.
All right, let's see it.
749. Yeah. So
1,500
that's
square
what
feet.
we were
That's about
seeing.
right. Yeah. So Phil is just showing a photo from Zillow in Asheville. It is 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. So it's a pretty small house. $750,000.
Yep.
Jeez.
That's
Yes,
about right. Where is it on
that
the map?
was
Can you
right.
find it on the map? If you scroll down or whatever. Oh, yeah, it's up by Woodfin. So that is. Oh, no, not up.
No, it's not by Woodfin at all.
Oh, so that's West Ash. That's like West. That's like that's like
I'm looking.
the West Asheville region. Yeah, that sums it up.
It does. It really does. Yeah. What do you got for me there?
I have some stats, but what do you have? You got anything?
No, babe. I did all my talking.
Oh, you're done with Asheville. Oh,
No.
that's right, because you spent the afternoon shopping, buying yourself some things.
I explored Asheville, so you stop it right now.
You did. You went to all the neighborhoods with me. You got to see like what it'd be like to live there. So let's talk about Asheville, North Carolina. Over the last 10 years, home prices have increased significantly in the last decade. The median home price went from $210,000 in 2012 to $347,000 in 2022. That number has got to be way low.
It's low.
Inventory of homes for sale has generally been declining. 2012, there was a 6-month supply, whereas in 2022, just over a month. So
Wow.
most houses probably sell right away.
Yeah.
There are a handful of houses that probably take 5-6 weeks to sell. Home sales rose steadily in the last 10 years. 3,500 sold in 2019 compared to just 2,000. What? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of inventory. It totally makes sense. I saw the same thing.
2,000 in 2012. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, they were going backward in time on me there.
Well, the one thing that we can say we didn't see in Asheville, which props to them, HOAs.
We did not see
No,
HOAs.
they are not ruining the landscape with HOAs.
They are not.
But
there
that's why
weren't
the
too many areas where the house.
No.
I think you find that further south in the city, like once you're leaving, heading towards South Carolina, you'll find those.
But like in that area of downtown and the outskirts of it, no.
In
like,
the city limits, right?
Yeah, I mean,
there aren't a ton of those.
they really kept the aesthetics.
Yeah. The downside is the percentage of home purchases by investors rather than owner occupants went from 13% in 2012. It's over 25% now. So
That's
one
a
out of every
lot.
4 houses is probably an Airbnb.
Wow. That makes it hard for people to buy homes and grow a family there. That's for sure.
Yep. And so that's it. Oh, migration. One thing. Asheville has seen an influx of new residents and second home buyers from more expensive cities, which has boosted demand. Nearly 25% of home purchases in 2022 were by out-of-state buyers. So you have 50% of the inventory, 25% owned by investors, the other 25% as second homes.
Oh, then you only have a small portion left for locals.
No wonder the prices are so high, right?
Yeah.
And
And why the locals, like really, some of them are struggling to get a house for their daughter, or their daughter getting a house, because half of it's getting scooped up by what you just said. And then the prices are skyrocketing. We see this all the time. This is nothing new.
Yep. Surprisingly, Greenville actually had a more diverse crowd. Demographics in 2020, 83% of Asheville is white.
I believe it. I didn't see any people of color. Did you see any people of color while we were there?
Yeah, some here and there.
Okay, I saw one girl. I saw one black girl.
12% Black, Hispanic and Latino, 6.4%, Asian, less than 2%. Average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment, I don't know where they're finding this, but $1,200. That's less than Greenville. There's no way. There's no way, not now.
No, I think I asked Mary? I thought I asked Mary what their rent was. I thought she said it was like $1,800 or $2,000. Wow. So okay. They have a 2-bedroom, I believe. But yeah, I could be wrong.
That's it.
I'll double check.
Crime is a problem. Crime is a big problem.
Okay, so I posted a picture of the Biltmore on my Facebook, a video actually, and somebody commented that I guess there's a naval base nearby, and that that they know from people that are stationed at the naval base, they have a major drug problem there.
I believe it.
That would bring in crime, but I don't know what the drug of choice is. Yeah. I mean, I think in mountains, it's got to be meth, right?
Well, if it's 83% white, then it's probably meth and opioids.
Yeah. So what is the issue with crime? Tell me.
So violent crime rate in 2021 was 1,000 per 100,000 people. That's a pretty high crime rate.
That is big. Yeah.
Property crime rate is 5,600. So you're going to get your stuff shanked, ganked, stolen, whatever the word is.
Your bayonet is going to be gone.
Yeah. And then what are you going to do? Papa's bayonet is missing.
It is.
Because Joey's on the opioids again. So anyway, that part is sad. It feels to me like a city that has exploded to the point where the city administration can't handle it.
Could be.
Yeah.
Would you live there?
I do want to give it another chance in better conditions, but right now I would say no. You?
No, I think I was like right out of the gate. No, I was just kind of angry. No, too, because I really had high hopes for it.
Yeah, everybody talks.
I really had high hopes, and I was like, oh no, why did this happen to this city? And I think it's because it's shaped like a vagina.
It probably is. Which is a nice place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there.
Okay.
All right. Do you have a top 5 and bottom 5? I do.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Top 5, the Blue Ridge Mountains and the French Broad River scenery.
Oh, it's beautiful.
What?
Yeah.
It's God's country.
It is.
The arts. Number 2, beer. If you love beer, it's a place for you.
It
for
is.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like the mountain clothes. You think they could be a little more upscale?
Are you going to wear suspenders? Does this mean you're going to start wearing suspenders?
I mean, I like the rugged look.
Are you going to grow a beard?
I might.
Stop it. We're not even going for
Can you grow a beard?
No, we know he can't. So we have to put we're going to paste a fake one on him.
I know.
I'll let AI do it.
And lastly, there is a coolness factor there. Like if you live in that region of the country, okay, between Atlanta to Charlotte to wherever else is north of there, Tennessee, Virginia, whatever, there would be something to say about going there and camping for a week or partying in the town for a few days. I would never camp
in the week. I would never go there camping, ever.
You would never camp there? It's the Blue Ridge Mountains. Where are you going to camp?
Okay, it's got to be an area that doesn't have drugs.
Oh, you're like, this doesn't have
drugs.
Under canvas.
This is drugs. I'm worried about drugs.
What are they going to steal?
No, I'm worried about drugs.
You're worried about drugs?
I am. So it's like I have to go to a place that's like run by a resort. Oh. I'm not just going to go up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Are you kidding? Did you there's movies about this where you go up there and then there's mountain people who are not happy that you're there. Heck no. Would you go into the mountains?
I wouldn't go in the mountains anyway.
Okay. Why not?
Are you, for real?
Black people don't camp.
Why do black people not camp?
They don't work all year to pretend they're homeless for a week.
Yeah, exactly. Why would we do that? Jeez, y'all love doing that weird stuff. Like
I wasn't saying go pitch a tent in some random piece of land.
That's what it sounded like.
No,
you said let's go camping.
I said they have Airstreams and all that other stuff
right on the river. That's in the city. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going up in the mountains. Yeah. No, it's too frightening for me.
I would party in Asheville.
Mountain people scare me.
I would party in Asheville.
Okay, then you're going to go missing, and we're going to be without a father and a husband. Just stick to the podcast.
Oh, okay.
But what if he comes back a drug lord?
I could be. That's right.
With a big mountain beard.
I don't know. I don't want a beard. I don't want drugs. I think I want to stick to this.
Throw me to the wolves. I come back the leader of the pack. What do you say?
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on. You could be my mountain queen.
I am very black and white. You know that. You know how I am. I am very black and white.
Bottom 5 for me, hippies.
Oh, you don't like hippies?
I've never liked hippies.
You never have.
Doesn't matter what state they're in. I'm sorry, I get it. Like Fish, Grateful Dead, all that. I get it. Like, but the minute I see
patchouli.
But the minute I see tie dye, I am out.
And you smell patchouli, you are out.
I am out.
No, everyone knows hippies are the most judgmental people. So
yeah, in keeping with the H theme, homelessness is a problem.
Yeah,
definitely doesn't seem to be the same response to the unhoused in Asheville and that there was in Greenville.
What bothers me the most about this is that this is an expensive city. Same with Seattle. Yeah. It's really bothersome that you have such a huge revenue stream and people are living on the street. I mean, I have an issue with it for real. Like, I don't want to move to a city where you don't care about your people living on the street.
Yeah. There's a neglect factor there.
100%.
Or just,
we lived in a city that had this problem for so many years.
LA turns a blind eye.
Yeah, I'm not doing this again.
Or enables them by thinking they're letting them be and not infringing on their rights. But I don't know. Anyway, whatever. We're not going to solve that problem right now. No. Head shops. Too many head shops in the downtown area.
Oh,
we need more galleries.
Okay.
Yeah, we need more galleries and breweries and restaurants and all that. House prices. Mm-hmm. My 4th H and my 5th H is high crime. So we've talked about all those things.
Oh, they're all H's.
They are all H's.
Okay. All right.
How about that?
That was crafty.
And I'm done. So I'm going back to one word answers. Go.
Empty nest, full tank.
Later.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.